G'day and welcome to On The Esky, an Australian sports podcast where we like to break down the week that was in sports, wide world of sports. We like to have a few scooey moi-mois occasionally and just catch up, have a bit of a yarn. Please remember we have timestamps. You can skip to the sports that you like. Check us out on socials, etc., etc. Carlton Draft, DRAFT, Carlton Draft, 20%. You can get some
good gear.
Some good gear, 20%, 20%.
T-shirts, stickers, hats,
etc., etc. We like to start the show by shouting a beer. 100th show. Raise the bat.
Yeah.
Raise the bat, boys.
Big episode this week.
How do we like to start it, Shauno?
Yeah, I can go first. And I have taken a bit of a Jimmy tact here and decided to shout out a large area of people.
How many people?
Good question. I'm going to guess
I'm sure you know this one off the top
2
of
and
your
a bit mil.
Yeah, 1.8, I'd say.
There you go. Close. I thought it was around the 2 mil ballpark. So, yes, a big tab for me.
South Australia.
Yes, and we're talking Adelaide specifically. And they're going to shout a beer for their job winning a whole bunch of sporting events. They're going to host the AFL Magic Round next year. So all clubs will be there to play the equivalent of the NRL. The State of Origin game, they get game 1, I believe, of State of Origin. And then they also, during the week, got the Live Golf Tournament. They're going to host a round of that. So, yes, a lot of sport coming to Adelaide in 2023. So they get my shout of beer for episode 100.
Apparently that Magic Round, it's not all going to be at the Adelaide Oval. So
they'll have to share it with Adelaide.
Rossa Valley. Little winery tour with the boys. Sounds horrible. Sounds absolutely horrible. Maybe we'll be broadcasting from Adelaide.
Might have to do a couple of trips.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Monks, who you got?
Yeah, so this one actually comes in courtesy of Michael Steamson, Steamer.
AFL correspondent.
Sports Nuffy with us. So I am shouting, I'm not shouting too many people a beer this week, but I am shouting Tom Brady a beer. This week he reached 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, $1 billion.
Dr. Evil chat.
That's it. No, he passed the 100,000 passing yards, making the first person to do that in NFL history. He threw his first passing yard in his career in November 23rd. I stuffed that one up. 2000.
Yeah.
So
23 years.
2000. We're 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's had an entire football career. Still going as well, obviously. Reached it in last week's game against, were they playing?
Carolina? Fucking fun. No, Los Angeles.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the Rams.
So it's, I think it was 87,000 regular season and about 13,000 postseason as well. So
how wild's that? Like he's so far above everyone else on regular season, then he's just chucking in a little bit of postseason.
Just a few extra. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So not too much else to celebrate at the moment, but for Tom Brady. But yeah, at least he has a beer.
Lucky the NFC South is strong at the moment. It's so strong.
So strong. No. And who have you got this week?
I'm going to shout Liam Martin of Tamora fame. Good little, Central West. No, he probably wouldn't say Central West, but just down the road from us here in Canberra. Man of the match last night gets in there. The Tamora Terrier, they call him. Big rugby league grand final coming up next weekend. We will discuss.
Yes, definitely.
Have we got a mop?
I don't think so. There's probably been a few that deserved a mop this week, but we haven't put one down. So
how's that?
Yeah.
No mops this week.
Yeah, it's 100th episode. We'll let them off.
Yeah,
we'll
give them a pass.
No mops.
Pass this week.
No mops.
We don't want to get in too much trouble.
All right, boys. Should we talk some cricket?
Yes.
Obviously, already...
That's the wrong one. You've got it on the wrong setting.
I have to change the setting.
Hang on. Bear with us.
There we go. There you go.
We already spoke ad nauseum about Australia not making it through to the semi-finals. We do have a final tonight
Yes.
Weather pending. Pakistan defeated New Zealand, and they come right at the right time, the Pakistanis. We had kind of postulated that Pakistan would be dangerous if Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan fire. And they
Score runs.
They hadn't done so. The whole tournament, and then they go out and they make some runs. They did it pretty easy.
They knocked it around essentially to finish off. I guess credit to the Pakistani bowling outfit as well, actually keeping New Zealand to a relatively decent score at 152.
Well,
I think we were saying pars 160, and you really want to get past that to be competitive. 152 wasn't enough, and those two blokes both got 50s, which made it a lot easier for the Pakistanis to win that game.
And not enough has been spoken about that Pakistani pace attack. I did a little bit of research via social media this week. They bowl the most
trusted.
They bowl the most balls over 140 kilometres. So Shane Shah, Freddie, Naseem Shah, Harris Ralph, they send them down, and they have genuine pace. And on their day, they're world beaters. So they got the job done. Probably knocked out the best team in the competition.
Yeah, I think New Zealand were favourites after the group stages, the way they played.
Indeed.
So, and they weren't too bad. Like, what was that? Mitchell got 53, Williamson got 46, decent scores. But they just didn't score quick enough, I guess, which is probably the tale of both matches, of both semi-finals, is the team that batted first was a bit slow to start off, which allowed the second team, the chasing team, essentially, to have the better output in that regard. So, be interesting going into the final tonight. Who wins the toss? And because I think whoever wins it's going to elect to bowl first and prefer to chase.
Can we get a Bureau of Meteorology down there in Melbourne? Because I think a lot of it is going to depend on the amount of rain.
What happens if they wash out the final? They just come back in a couple of days?
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
So game 2 then, we had India, of course, taking on England with India. Slow start. And then our lad, Hardik Pandya, got them home essentially after Kohli played second.
Your lad.
Yeah, Kohli played second fiddle. They both got
my lad.
they both got 50s in this one, but Hardik really did the damage late, which gave them a decent score to cover. But again, it was only 168, I think. But the Pommies just put on the sword. They didn't look like taking a wicket. And Hales, what a find he's been. Loves playing at the Adelaide Oval, and smacked them all over the place, and they didn't drop a wicket and walk into the finals as probably the heavy favourites, I'd say, after that performance against India.
We spoke about it in the lead up to the World Cup, and we thought if Butler fires, it's danger to anyone. And Butler did well, Hales did well. When they're on, they're on.
Yeah, well, Butler, I think for the first 3 kind of set the tempo, gave Hales a bit of time to play in, and then he played second fiddle, and Hales took over, and they just did not look like taking a wicket. And whether that was a bit of a mistake there by the Indian selection by not picking a wrist spinner because their only fingers. Like there was a bit of chat about that, but I think with the talent they have in that squad, they should have taken a wicket. They should have looked a bit more dangerous than they were. But whatever they were doing their strategy wise, whether they were putting the ball, just didn't work, and they just got carted all over the bloody pitch. So,
I think credit where credit's due.
Yeah,
I think
side,
Butler and Hales are very, very good. Hadn't fired essentially throughout this tournament, and when they're on, they're fucking on.
Yeah.
Did not look like getting out and played really well. And that then leads, of course, into Pakistan playing England tonight in about an hour and a half for Do you have me a weather update on the MCG? Is this game going to happen?
Any BOMs?
It looks rainy.
Can you get a radar check while you're there?
A radar check as well.
How many mils we're talking?
Cloudy, high chance of storms developing.
Wet.
Very wet, yeah. So, hopefully that doesn't affect the match, but it's not looking great.
See how that unfolds.
Yes. Yep. Now an hour and a half. Well, I guess the question I asked last week, who do you think wins? And now you've got the two. Oh, that rain's like looking like it's moving in towards Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is in Melbourne.
Was that us?
How do I get to Melbourne?
Jimmy Slacker.
There you go.
And then, there we go.
There it is.
I was going on the side.
Southeast. It might miss. It might miss.
Might
Yeah,
miss.
you
Maybe
might have
drizzle.
some.
Anyway, my question: Pakistan, England. Who you backing?
England on their day should not lose to anyone.
Agree. I think we've said Pakistanis were the dark horse of this competition. They have followed through that as the underdogs. They will go into this as underdogs.
I'm glad they're in the final.
Yeah, I think it's. I think the organisers wanted that mouthwatering competition of
course.
of India versus Pakistan for the final. Didn't happen that way, but they get a red hot. Again, so two of the top four teams playing T20 at the moment. They get those guys going together, and it'll be a good contest. Maybe rain affected, we'll see. I think we're probably, based on that weather report from the sexy Jimmy, the weatherman on the end of the table there.
I'll take that.
He's got flaunted a bit of twerking maybe.
Good answer.
We'll get some cricket tonight by the sounds of that. I think there'll be some cricket. Maybe a bit of Duckworth in there as well, but we'll see. I think let's stick with England. I hate it. I prefer the Pakistan to win. I think that was my thought. Yeah, we don't want England to win. We want the Pakistan to win, but we think England would be the overall better side.
On an analytical side of things, if Babar and Mohammad Rizwan make runs, then Pakistan's in with the shout.
Sure.
Really,
Yeah. We keep saying that they get runs. They're always within a shout. So that's probably our take. We'll see how we're going. We might get to catch the start of that at the end of this podcast. But yeah, up the Pakistani team.
Rugby league.
World Cup to World Cup.
Yeah, good soundbite that is. Australia beat New Zealand last night 16-14. Sell out in Leeds. We are Leeds. We are Leeds. We are Leeds. This is the kind of match that we as a fans wanted to see.
Yeah.
Throughout this tournament, obviously a lot of blowouts. Yeah, not a lot of close spectacles.
It's the first kind of like real competitive game with two natural rivals here that have played each other a lot. And yeah, I guess we got the game that we thought we wanted, which is probably would have been the preview to would have been the final if the draw was a bit different. Because I think the New Zealand team probably does both Samoa and the England squad.
Probably.
This was the competition, and Australia had to do it tough. They were down at halftime. 10-14, but the New Zealand squad, they faded pretty bad towards the end. They couldn't get any points. You got up early and watched this one, didn't you?
I did watch this early. It's a nice viewing time, unlike...
This one wasn't too bad, yeah.
Quarter to 7, I think it started, didn't it?
Yeah, England and Samoa last night, 1:30 in the morning. That's when I look at my eyelids.
Yeah. Favoritism for the English squad there, I'd say. They know where the viewership is.
Indeed.
True.
No, it was probably one of the best games throughout this World Cup. It was a tough slog. I think 52 to 48% in terms of the possession. The errors were the same. The penalties, I think, was 4-3.
Yep.
4-3 to Australia. And essentially, it went down to the bounce of the ball, as per Madge Maguire. That's what he thought. The bounce of the ball. That Kiwi side is very, very good, but the Kangaroos got the job done in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jordan Rapana, poor bloke, he missed out a car, fastest man on the planet, coming around his outside to get the quick strike back to get him in the contention, and the Australian team wore him down in there in the end. Bit interesting that Big Tino didn't play a lot in the second half of this game. You thought with the big New Zealand forwards that that might wear on them a little bit to help, because the New Zealand forwards were going through them essentially. But it's interesting. There's some question marks on Cleary's game out of this with all the superstars around him. Could he have done a bit more? But then again, maybe that's not his role really.
I thought he was pretty good.
He's more there as like the general than the lead playmaker. That's the bloke next to him. Munster's kind of role, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. I think that squad will be the squad that goes into the final, barring any injuries, of course. So Val Holmes, Fox, and Cameron Murray got the tries for the Aussies. Dylan Brown and Hughes got the ones for the Kiwis, and there was a couple of penalty goals as well in that for the New Zealand side. Was the one disallowed try by a bee's dick, and you two are very, very accustomed to bee's dicks. So
never heard of it, right?
You don't get the tape measure back out. What did you think of that? Fair?
Yeah, it looked offside. Only just. But
In real time, or
was-
only in the slow mo?
slow-mo.
Slow-mo.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones where like it's based on the camera angle as well. It was a little bit past halfway, so you're sort of looking at it from behind, and it was a little bit subjective, but yeah, it was very, very close. Yeah.
And I guess that's the bounce the ball comment. I guess,
Yeah.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah. A bee's dick less, and then they're taking the lead in this game and getting there. But alas, the Australian side goes through to the final, and you, of course, shouted Liam Martin out a beer for his man of the match performance in that one.
113 run meters, 42 tackles. However, Teddy had 301.
Teddy always gets him. He doesn't need any more.
That was going to be my point. I think it's like who was the second best player?
Yeah,
because it tends to be James Tedesco.
I agree. I agree 100%. Then I guess we've got to talk about England and Samoa, and that ended up being a golden point. Not a huge high-scoring affair, 27-26, I think, final score there to the Samoans winning it. But I guess for the Samoan side, they kind of come back after essentially getting thrashed by their squad in game one, 60-6, I believe, was that score.
What a turnaround.
Yeah, definitely. I think Samoans really turned their World Cup around in the last, towards the end of the group stage. I know you had it there, Jimmy. Can you run me through try scorers for each squad?
Yeah. So for Samoa, we had Tim Lafai, Biggie Sal,
I still
Crichton.
up on this one.
What was that?
Getting you to say all the Samoan try scorers.
Lafai.
Jeez. Yes, Crichton scored 2, Lafai scored 2, and Sal scored 1.
Yeah.
For Pommies, Elliot Whitehead had 1, Bateman had 1, and Herbie Farnsworth had 2 as well. Those names are a little bit easier.
Yeah, there you go. Well, at least England's country will miss out on one World Cup. Let's hopefully they can do the second one. So what was the halftime score on that?
Yes, so Samoa led halftime 10-0. So yeah,
The squad had to get back in it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this Samoan squad. And we've talked about them being
10-6.
being a bit unders going into the final series, essentially, and they're kind of showing up here. I think that the name value, I think we talked about that. They should be doing better. They've got all the names in the squad. But do you see them troubling the Australian squad?
No, not at all.
No, neither. I just think there's just too much talent on the other side.
Yeah. On paper, it should be the Kangaroos win by 20, 24 points.
I'm feeling like a 30-something to 12 scoreline kind of thing.
However, it was an interesting turnaround from getting fucking belted in the first group match.
Yeah,
to going out and beating England.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of shows the turnaround. Maybe that was a bit of the layoff, a bit of rest, a bit of working through the squads. So, yeah, they've got there. As I was driving over, I saw a bloke with a big Samoan flag out the sunroof. The Polynesians, the Samoans especially, are very, very keen and very happy to see their guys through to, I guess that's their first World Cup final.
Yeah, they definitely wouldn't have played.
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
I don't know if they've
They
been
played in
past
the
semis.
Yeah, they played in the last World Cup, but they didn't. I don't think they made the finals. They lost to Tonga in that equivalent game that they won this year.
It's definitely their first final.
Yeah. And I guess all those guys that are committed to play for Samoa have really shown their potential and their benefit there. But yeah, I agree. Same, Jimmy. You think the Australians will walk over them?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I've got the odds up here, so might as well go through them.
From the bookie.
I know, right? Australia's $1.10, Samoa's out at $7.
That's a bit short for a final.
Does that speak volumes as to where international rugby league is at?
Yeah, well, we said it was the two main teams being New Zealand and Australia. England kind of compete as a good team.
I thought England might have done a bit better.
But I guess the name value of both the Samoan and the Tongan sides are there, but I just don't think they've reached that level, Australia, New Zealand. Sure. But hey, next World Cup, different story. I think that's maybe where we start to see the growth, especially of the Polynesian countries really coming through, and maybe some of those other, what would you call them, tier threes kind of work their way into it with more guys, the more teams playing rugby league, the more people playing it, the better the quality is. More World Cups like this, the better the quality will be.
That's it.
Yeah. Do you think Sorry.
Yeah, Samoa's only made it out of the qualifying rounds twice.
Yeah.
So to go from that to,
It's massive in a World Cup final.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think the Australian squad changes anything?
No, I think Cleary has established himself as the 7 or whatever number he's wearing, and I think Mao has probably given the changing of the guard, from DCA to Cleary. Outside of that, I think the 1 through 6 probably pick themselves, and then who knows out of that forward pack.
I think the forward pack probably stays. Only if there's an injury, they might tweak it a little bit. But yeah, I think what they've set up, the New Zealand squad, that was their A side, and I think they'll roll into the final with the same thing. So yeah, but of course, for the 3 Australians are going to pick the Australian squad to win.
Yep.
Nice and easy.
Keep rolling. Get stuck into some NFL. Unless you got anything else, rugby league.
Should we talk some NFL?
Yeah.
He broke his ankles.
Yes, and week 10 in the NFL kicks off. I guess before we get into the games and the news for the various teams, we should probably talk about OBJ because, as all accounts, he will get cleared this week to return to action. And there's about 4 clubs looking at him. I think I saw today Buffalo and Von Miller was talking about how he set up a phone meeting with their GM and OBJ, so that's a spot. Rams, of course, want him. I think the Packers are still keen for for wide receiver help. And there's he was in Kansas, he was in Minnesota as well, but I think they've kind of filled that spot with Tony and TJ going into those squads. So, but hey, I think there's a lot of teams that are now at that point pushing for probably playoff contention or need something to put them over the edge, and OBJ might do that.
So teams I've got reported are Cowboys,
That's another one.
Bills, Chiefs, Giants, 49ers.
Packers?
They've been in there, the conversation, but I think maybe they're lost in the lines last week.
Do they have wide receivers?
No one wants to go to the Packers.
Yeah. Well, OBJ's chasing rings, and the Packers might be out of contention already this season. But we'll get to that in a minute, Peppy. We'll drag out that pain for you.
I like pain.
Yes.
Imagine if he went back to the Giants.
Yes. Well, they've cleared a bit of room there.
Cash.
They've got some young guys that aren't real big name value there, so potentially. I feel like the Giants aren't a real team. They're a real team. They're just not a real playoff team.
6-2.
Yeah, 6-2, but they did lose. The Seahawks kind of showed them up the previous week, so I'm just not sure if they're the real playoff team that they kind of looking like at the moment. Anyway, Thursday night football. Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers.
Panthers get the win.
We talked last week, I think, PJ Walker trying to avoid that tanking, doing the job, officially named starter going forward. So though both Baker and Sam Darnold are back, he will be the starter going forward. And I guess the story of this game was PJ Walker did enough and Foreman did the rest. They really played better than the Falcons. Got the win here. Did you see Baker headbutting his teammates?
I did say that. He didn't have a helmet on.
Yes.
It's dangerous.
Not.
It's dangerous.
He did like the entire offensive team, I think, or the special teams when they came off. So 11 different dudes he headbutted. That's one way to enter the concussion protocols.
That's it.
He seemed like he came out of it okay.
Yeah. I think he's very fair. But, Panthers, I think, then are a game behind Tampa in that division. So
that NFC South, it's flip of a coin, isn't it?
what do you boys think about the Falcons and Mariota's job?
I think Mariota has to play the rest of the season.
Ooh, big call.
I think he does. They're winning football games. They didn't obviously win.
They've won 3 or 4. They've won 4.
They're top of the NFC South
For now.
with 4 and 5.
Tampa Bay's on top, won the record, but they haven't played this week.
Yeah.
So they're second.
Yeah, I
They're
think they'll be
sitting second at the
after this
moment.
week. Saints and Panthers have won only 3 games. So, Saints, if they win their game, might also bump back up. But I don't know. His performance in this one wasn't great. It was raining very heavily. They were dealing kind of with a semi-hurricane, I believe, over there. So a bit of weather on the coastal areas. So I don't know. They've got Riddler, who they drafted 3rd round, I think, from memory, sitting on the bench.
Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, Ridder. Maybe another loss, and they might start thinking about looking at the rookie.
we'll see what happens. I think Mariota, he's probably exceeded expectation.
Well, he hasn't had to do a lot. That's probably the other thing.
Hand it off.
Yeah, exactly. They're a run-heavy team. So, but when you're down, and in this one, did you see that the pick he threw where he tried to be Patrick Mahomes? He's basically laying on the ground with his shoulders there, and he just lobs it up and hopes Kyle Pitts is fucking down there somewhere. And
he wasn't.
He wasn't. No. The Panthers' safety was, and he picked it off. So yeah, I'm a bit worried there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you talk about just handing it off. Cordell Patterson had a really quiet game there, so
He wasn't used much, which was interesting.
no, had 15 carries for 18 yards and was only targeted like a handful of times as well.
It's more carries than I thought he had.
Panthers knew.
Yeah.
They knew it was up.
Yeah.
Burns was very good for them in this. I think he got a couple of sacks.
Game in Germany.
Yes.
What are we thinking here? Seattle versus Tampa Bay. Mace, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Any chance?
Yeah. I mean, I've always got to say yes, and it is against the Seahawks at the moment, who are probably playing overs by all accounts.
Oh, bloody hell.
Gino and
yeah,
Walker
Gino.
have been very, very good for them, doing what they need to do. So they win the football games.
Yeah, that's it.
Not sure about Germany, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah, travel always sort of has a weird effect on the teams when they're going, like some teams that you don't expect to play well always play well when they're traveling international. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one.
What did you think last week? Vintage Tom Brady, the divorce game, coming back with 55 seconds, I think, to get the win?
that final
Crazy
drive.
last drive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, like Tom Brady
turning the
always-
season around. Tampa fan on the other table.
Let's see how we go with this game.
All right.
I think there's still a long way to go.
Well, I think we said last week that game was kind of the season for both those teams, being the Rams as well. Like, really needed a win to kind of stay even in contention. So, got the
that's
job
it.
done, and maybe a turning point. We'll see.
Yeah, and also I suppose to keep the Rams to that scoreline as well is probably a little bit more promising in terms of just Tampa Bay's defense showing up. So yeah, hopefully it's a sign of things to come. And yeah, tomorrow again will probably be another one of those tests. See whether to continue on that trajectory from last week.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think game of the week. I think Minnesota Vikings, that is, taking on the Buffalo Bills.
I thought you were talking about Seahawks Tampa Bay.
No. The next game.
Those are pretty good.
I think this one's a bit more tasty than that one.
How's Josh Allen's elbow? Does anyone know?
Hasn't practiced. They said he's going to start. So it sounds like he did some, work off to the side. So not officially training, but good enough to be able to sling the rock. So yeah, we'll have to see. But they're going up against a red hot Vikings team, which
7-1.
7-1. They just got TJ who Hawkinson, and he got 10 targets, or did he get 9 targets, 9 catches? They fit straight away. And then, of course, that was Kirk Cousins against his former team in the Washington Commanders there. Did you see him on the plane? Iced out the next day.
I think everyone saw it. Good rig for a quarterback.
Definitely.
See Adam Schefter trying to
on
also
ESPN.
emulate. not quite the same rig as Kirk Cousins.
He's doing pretty well for
Hey,
himself.
I thought so.
Considering he blew his AC out doing a greedy at the start of the year.
Yeah, I thought quite wide across the chest.
Yeah.
Not too much in the gut. Good on you, Shefty.
That's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Minnesota's biggest concern going forward is probably going to be primetime games, because primetime Kirk Cousins
Of
historically
course,
bad.
yeah, easy.
This game not in primetime. So I think, do I lean to a hurt Allen, hurts Buffalo, and I think the Vikes get the win in this one. That's what I'm thinking. It is in Buffalo though, but
I think the Bills get the job done. I think the Vikings haven't had a very difficult schedule.
great point.
Yeah.
Biggest competition for them was the Eagles, and the Eagles handled them very well.
We'll find out in the morning.
Boo game of the week. Going into Lions taking on the Bears here.
Yeah, the NFC North is outside of the Minnesota Vikings. It's pretty rubbish. However, Justin Fields has been playing elite.
Yes.
It's nice to see.
Definitely taking that leap after. I think they were on prime time like 3 weeks ago, and there was a lot of question marks over his play in that game. But since then, he's been very good, adding a lot extra with his legs. Scored that 60-yarder, I think, the other day.
He ran for 180 yards last week.
Yeah.
Wild.
If you can do that, they've got an extra weapon in Claypool.
He's been the number one quarterback in fantasy football over the last 4 rounds.
Yeah, right.
So that says something.
Yes, it definitely does. And against the bad Lions team, bad defensive Lions team, definitely. Maybe a lot of points in this. Not a great defensive stand for either of these teams. Interesting fact, the St. Brown brothers, they're playing against each other.
True, yeah.
So it's the St. Brown
Amon Ra versus Equinemius St. Brown.
But other than that, yeah, both these teams kind of sucked. And I think maybe Fields will be the difference and the Bears might get a win here.
Yeah, it's nice to see him. I don't know if you guys know that show, QB1. He used to be on that down in Georgia. And seems like a very stand-up bloke, good bloke. And it's nice to see him getting a bit of success there with the Chicago Bears.
I agree.
However, this game, doo-doo.
Yeah, we'll not be tuning in. Then we go into the Broncos versus the Tennessee Titans.
Also doo-doo, but will you be tuning in?
Yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in. So some interesting connectivity, and I'll say, like, you can see that this week was a bit of a slow news week because they were talking about wristband gate, where, you know, Russell Wilson hadn't been wearing a wristband, now he was, and then Pete Carroll saying, oh, well, you know, there was a lot of resentment to this, and then, you know, we won a lot of games. Exactly. Slow news week, very slow news week. This there was a lot of chat about this. Nothing story. It was just a bit of back and forth with, you know, a few X's, of course.
Wait, so wristband as in injured or wristband as in like
wearing a wristband and getting plays off it?
Yeah, okay.
As a quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yes, very very silly slow news week. Otherwise, not a lot for both these teams. The Titans, Ryan Tannehill is back by all accounts. He's going to play in this game. Hasn't practiced all week. Both these teams are pretty banged up with another like 3 or 4 outs for each one. But I think this is a good time when we're talking injuries to have a bit of a side note, because across the board, injuries across the board are up across the league. The NFLPA, so the Players Association, has asked to get rid of synthetic pitches and move to grass across the league. So it's about half and half at the moment. What are your thoughts?
Well, it seems to be there's a lot more soft tissue injuries that occur on synthetic fields.
Yep. OBJ Classic, his ACL of course on a synthetic field.
However, a lot of grounds have synthetic pitches. So what do you do?
Yep. Get some groundskeepers in there.
It's a big shift.
Some fine lawn porn.
Oh, lawn porn. Gets me 6 to midnight pretty quick. You know, in Arizona, right, they've got the stadium and then they've got actual grass.
Yep, and they truck it in. Well, they pull it in and out.
It's like a pulley system. Like it comes in underneath the stadium.
Slides in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I think the players would prefer to play on, you know, nice, natural lawn porn grass.
Yep.
Yep.
I think there's probably more of a cost involved in doing that. Of course, there's a lot more upkeep in doing grass.
Of course.
But then again, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar league.
Billion-dollar industry.
Lawn seed's not that expensive, and
Indeed.
you play a couple of groundskeepers to take care of it. I think is a worthwhile investment.
We've all played American football. Mm-hmm. What did you rather get tackled on?
Well, you guys playing on a synthetic pitch?
Yep. I've played it on synthetic up in Queensland.
Yeah, Gold Coast. Yeah. The Gold Coast training facility, essentially, for the Titans. It's concrete. Hated it.
Horrible.
Yeah, I think that's it. The concrete underneath it, like, I suppose it doesn't matter.
There's no gift to it. It's just hard.
It
feels wrong. Like, literally,
it feels wrong.
For
skin.
And then, just
considering how much different sports
just
we've
like
played,
sliding on the
all grass, and then you go to that and you're just like, wow, this is bad.
Yeah, just sliding on the pitch.
It's not nice.
Take out, take off so many layers of skin. It's not great.
Burn, essentially.
Yeah,
Agree. I hated it.
I can probably understand that some of the like more drier states, like probably Arizona's, I guess, that'd be massive upkeep to keep that lawn.
But they're doing it.
Nice.
They've got the
They're
money.
doing it. So I suppose that proves that you can do it.
Yeah. I think when you weigh up how much it probably costs to maintain that field and do it, and the fact that someone like OBJ, who you're paying millions of dollars to do a job, blows his knee and then can't play for you anymore, or for that matter, the amount of ACLs across your teams.
yeah.
I'm using that as one injury. There's many other different types that come from that kind of push off extension for the players. You're losing millions of dollars and potentially, players available, and then also potential wins, which adds revenue, which adds a whole bunch of other things. So for me personally, grass everything.
Yeah, you hate to say it, but it's just the way that it goes with the state sometimes. But like the last thing you'd want as an owner of a football team or a owner of a stadium is to have some class action against you because all these NFL players are suing you for injuries.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if they care about player safety, I think that's the NFL's PA's point. If you care about player safety, then you should be changing it. You should be moving to more grass. You care about all those concussions. Well, actually, that's probably how they figured it out. It's like, where all the concussions from, Tua donging his head on the ground kind of thing. It's like, hey, if it was grass, maybe a bit more softer. That's probably bullshit. But hey, if it's 5%, it's 5% you could be saving.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, this game will be interesting.
Titans win.
You think? I think they're going to rely. They're not going to be able to pass the ball.
Nah, they'll be fine.
But
Give it to the king, feed the king.
It's going up the number one defense. Whether the king can maintain a 3-yard average, that is the battle. That's essentially what I hear. Of course, I'll tune in and we'll go for Denver. But
5 a.m., baby.
Yeah, of course.
It's good. It's good. Nice.
Yeah.
Bit of daylight savings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville will most likely struggle against the Kansas City Chiefs up next. Not a lot for the Jags. Bit of hype about Trevor Lawrence was mic'd up last week, talking about getting hit. That makes me play better. I like it when you hit me hard. I'm a psycho, that kind of thing. So a bit of chat there from Trevor Lawrence, which is nice to see from Football Jesus. But I just don't think Jacksonville has what it takes to take it to Kansas City. And then Kansas City, Tooney's kind of fit in there. Juju's kind of now established himself as wide receiver 1. Did ask for a long-term deal during the week, kind of saying, hey, I'm getting to that point that maybe I want to stay around for a couple of years. I guess the concern is, are they relying on Mahomes too much? And are they going to be a deep playoff team?
I think they will go deep. I think in the AFC, it's them Buffalo.
Ravens, maybe. I don't think Ravens defense. It's been better, actually. We talked shit about Ravens defense a couple of weeks ago, and I think they're rated like 3rd or 4th in the NFL at the moment. So they've actually played better statistically than we thought they had been. So I don't know. I just don't think they're not as good as their Super Bowl winning team.
Interesting.
Not as good as their Super Bowl losing team. I think they're just not quite where they were. And maybe they are, yes, asking Mahomes to do a lot. But I think they'll be good. They'll be a playoff team. Just not sure if they run into a more complete team, they might struggle.
I think tomorrow they win handily.
Oh, this game, they pumped the Jags.
I think their offense is sexy. And I don't know.
I think they're
moving forward in the AFC, I think it's them and Buffalo.
Yeah. I think their biggest concern for Kansas City has been their coverage, their defense in the back end. So Jacksonville have been throwing the ball pretty well. I don't think it'll make much difference in this game. But, yeah, that might be the difference in the future.
Cleveland, Miami.
Not a lot from the Browns. They're in their final countdown to Watson, who's
when's he
3 weeks away? Week 13, I think it is. From memory, it was 13 weeks. You can confirm that.
11 weeks? Because it was one less than... It's whenever they play the Texans, isn't it?
Yeah, good point.
Can you give me a massage while you look at that? above the belt.
I haven't got enough hands for that.
You don't need that, Matty. You need some tweezers, bro.
Everyone's settled. Miami Dolphins, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, both in the top 5 for receiving yards in the NFL. It's crazy.
So that's the question for you. The Tua-led Dolphins, are they the best team in the NFL?
No. I don't think they're the best team in the NFL. Are they the best team in the AFC East? No.
I think Buffalo's probably
I think Buffalo's probably got that. Are they a good football team? Yes.
Will they compete week in, week out? Yes.
Yes, I think they win tomorrow.
They've got the weapons to get chunk plays and put them in scoring positions. So, yeah, I think Tua's been doing a good job.
What about everyone talking shit about Tua, in the preseason? Oh, he doesn't have the cannon, he doesn't have the arm, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He's been fire.
He's been good. He did underthrow Waddle last week. But other than that, he's been pretty good. I think, you don't have to throw 60-yard bombs every 2 to 3 plays, and they've been doing a really good job feeding essentially Hill and Waddle, spreading the ball around. And interesting will be Jeff Wilson's role in this game.
Coming over from 49ers.
Looks like he might have stolen Edmonds' job already. They will share it, but I think he's going to be the A side for that. Browns have been pretty good defensively. They're relying on full Chubb, of course.
Full Chubb.
I think this game might be a bit more competitive than people think, but I'd probably lean to what you said before with the Dolphins in this one.
What's Kareem Hunt's role moving forward? He's probably been underwhelming fantasy owners and punters and the like.
It also depends on the game situation. The Bears have actually been playing pretty well and been in the lead of a few games, so they haven't had to chase. And when Hunt's really the third down back with the receiving kind of guy where they can, if they're going 4 wide, he's the back in there. So they haven't had to do that as much outside of the 2 minutes situations. So maybe when you get into the gooder teams towards the end of the year, he'll get more involvement. But I think full Chubb, besides Henry, the last couple of weeks was the best running back in the league. He was leading essentially everything. So yeah, you ride the full Chubb hand for as long as you can.
Yeah. We've got here, I don't know which
Gets me fired up.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Anyway,
statistically, Tua by far the best. He's got the best passer rating in the list I'm looking here, 115.9.
115, that's
115.9.
And people still want to shit on him, and his passer rating is 115.9.
I mean, take that with a
He just needs to learn to slide. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Look after yourself.
That matchup against the Texans is week 13 for Watson. Yep.
So week 13, he's back. So another
3 weeks.
3 games. Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of the Texans, they take on the Giants. Is this the doo-doo game of the round, or are the New York Football Giants a legitimate team?
Well, I think they'll get a win here against the Texans. Texans are still dealing with Brandon Cooks, of course. He has returned to practice. And then, his chat all week has been about yes, I wanted to be traded. I want to win. So, what are they, 1-6 at the moment? Is not really where he wants to be. So he can't go anywhere. He's now stuck. But that actually generated a bit of conversation with multiple teams actually asking the league, can we extend the trade window to week 10 or week 12? What are your boys' thoughts on that?
I don't hate it.
I think it's the conversation we had about the NRL. I think that's where he's you don't want to go.
You don't want to go too far,
and then you're oh, you're a mercenary. I think at the moment where it's half a season, it's that's fair.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Maybe stretch the week 10.
I'm happy with 10, 12. I think we're starting to get a bit silly, and
I agree.
The only thing that I'm cautious of, is having no limit, and then people,
willy-nilly.
People just jump on,
fuck that,
another team, and it's fucking round 17.
Yeah, Ponga Junior joining the week before finals. That's not what we want. We don't want guys switching, from bum teams to playoff teams.
Yeah,
just so you can win a comp. That kind of devalues the rest of the season, essentially.
Yeah, I'm happy with halfway through the season.
Yeah, halfway, maybe add a week or two, but don't go too far. Don't go too far. Agree on that. But either way, Giants, I think, will do enough here in this one and win it. And there's not a lot of news coming out of Giants camp at the moment. Then we go into Saints versus the Steelers. There's some chat about Dalton, I think, was confirmed, started going forward. Can you confirm Winston in his injury? I believe he's currently sitting on the bench as backup. I think he's fine. But there's been some chat during the week. Should they reverse that decision and get Jameis back out there? Part of me thinks yes. I think he's a better quarterback.
I think Andy Dalton's played 5 in a row, so the Red Rifle, can he keep going? Jameis Winston, you've seen him down in Tampa Bay. He's got a cannon.
Yeah, no, he does. And that's probably the surprising thing for me. I think he did play last week. I'm just bringing up the stats.
Did Dalton start and then he came in?
Sorry, he did not play. He was on the bench.
Yeah. I think that's the role's going. So I think that's the conversation. For me, I would pick Jameis to start. I think he's just a better quarterback. Maybe they're being gentle in his return, but overall, I think he's just a better quarterback. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's a weird team. They're in a weird sort of situation. Like
They're banged up.
They're banged up. Like Thomas is out again.
They just haven't been.
Kamara will do
defensively.
everything he can do.
Yeah, and Kamara is their option.
Yeah, like they haven't really got it too much outside of that.
But win 2 games and you're top of the division. So that's the other thing. That's why maybe
That's saying more about the division than the Saints. Yeah, I don't know. A bit of an identity crisis at the moment. I suppose there's probably been a lot of change in the last couple of years, and they're still trying to figure out what to do with Breeze obviously retiring. We've got Jersey back there. As well as Sean Payton as well. So they're just trying to, I guess, figure it out. Well,
have you seen the Sean Payton and Lamar chat? This is like Sean Payton's, I'm a free agent. He might be a free agent next year. Maybe, we create some dream team somewhere. I think Baltimore will sign. Actually, that's the Baltimore chat. That was last week's Baltimore chat. That Lamar wants to be signed and get his big deal. So we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, Steelers on the other hand, TJ Watt is back, which is crazy considering torn pec. 4 weeks he missed. This is the Steelers' first game since the bye week after trading away Claypool. So we'll have to see what that means for Johnson and Pickens and how they fit in that role with Pickett. I have a feeling that Pittsburgh might steal this one.
Steal it, you reckon?
Yeah, yes. I think maybe with TJ back defensively, I think they're just too good for the Saints. The Saints are, like we were talking about, just identity crisis. They just don't know what they are. Big game from Pickens.
Do either of these teams bother anyone?
Nope.
So?
Yeah. Sure. Agree. Well, speaking of teams that aren't going to bother anyone, let's talk about the Colts. Colts and Raiders. Colts, of course, that was the biggest story, I guess, during the week. They fired their head coach, Frank Reich, who was gone. And then made an interesting selection and putting in Jeff Saturday.
Day before Sunday.
Yeah, as famed for being the centre for a long time for Peyton Manning. He's come in. They had a very interesting press conference. They had some concerns about, so no one in their squad, in their coaching staff has called offensive plays in the NFL before. So they picked a play caller. It's not Saturday. So Saturday, I think, is kind of come in as the mouthpiece, essentially. See what it looks like. Do you think this is a shit show?
It seems it.
I think they've seen
Matt Ryan. They invested heavily.
And traded for him, and
he's riding the pine.
JT's been injured and really hasn't fired this year.
Sam Ehlinger, is that how you say it?
Yeah, the starter. I feel like they saw what the Panthers were doing and like, ooh, we could get the first round pick here.
Yeah, perhaps tanking.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, we'll give Jeff Saturday the start, as you will, as the head coach. He can coach the next 9-ish games. So get him some clout, but I think postseason there might be a whole new coaching staff and maybe first round pick. Thinking Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, for them. That's why I think this is going. On the flip side of that, if the Colts win this game, I think the Raiders will fire McDaniels.
Yeah,
they've only won one game. They put Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow on injury reserve during this week, so they're out. I think in total they got 43 plays with their top offense this year. So
and banged up. You can only do what you can do with your healthy offense.
They lost last week after having a 17-point lead, and I think they've blown a few other big leads.
Blown a lot.
So this game probably the worst game this week, team wise. Unfortunately for Devonta Adams. Ending up where he's at the moment.
I suppose, in terms of potential, that both these teams, looking at it from the start of the season, you'd think they'd be doing a lot better than what they actually are. Yeah.
They both only won one game, yes?
Good question.
I'm pretty sure Raiders Raiders won 2 games. The Colts might have only won 2 games. But I think they're both at the bottom at the moment.
Yeah, Raiders have won 2.
That.
Yeah, Raiders have won 2. Colts have won. Can't see this at all.
Need some glasses?
Probably need some glasses.
Colts
have won 3.
3.
Yeah. No, but Jeff Saturday's it's a weird one. he has been working as a sports analyst, so he has been watching a lot of film. So
And he was
he probably understands.
a consultant. I think he was in the he was in the coaching staff already. So
Yeah, I mean, just from everything that I've heard during the week, like he used to be the center, like he'd have to know a lot of offensive plays, like probably a little bit lacking
I'm not doubting
on the
he's a
defense
smart
side of the ball, but yeah, smart dude, and he has.
But he's coached. Hasn't coached at any level.
He's coached
High school.
High school.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously not
College
anything higher than
or-
that.
yeah.
Sorry, and then other than that, so he named Parks Fraser the specialist passing coach as the play caller for the moving forward. So yeah.
Tough times. So yeah, I think after that, if the Raiders then end up losing, then I think McDaniels might be on the way out. But anyway, and they of course cut Abram during the week, who ended up at Packers. So they got rid of their 2019 first round pick. So I think of their last, Mike Mayock's picks as GM, they've gotten rid of all of his first round picks. So in 2 years. So it wasn't a great GM run for him, unfortunately. And then I guess we're into your game. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Green Bay Packers.
Righto, boys.
Yeah.
What did I say last week?
If they lost the Lions, you needed a new team.
I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. I'm from Australia, and I've been a fucking lifelong fan.
Wow,
There
the
you go.
turncoat right here.
There we go.
And the Cowboys as well.
Yeah. He picked a perfect week
this
as well.
week, eh?
Playing against each other.
I'm wearing this because Dad got it from America, and I said, if you go to like a
Like a proper sports shop.
like a sports shop over there, you probably get some cheap merchandise. Comparatively.
Well, I mean,
To what we pay.
the US Aussie dollar, anything's over there is expensive, even if it's comparative. So
I think you got this from Dallas Airport. How about them boys? Let's go. Fuck the Packers.
Well, speaking on the
has
Packers,
to be the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of watching these morons go out and not draft any fucking wide receivers or offensive help and going out there with a geriatric fucking quarterback and expect to win football games against the Detroit Lions. I'm sick of
I
it.
love Rodgers though.
No, I did.
here's a question for you.
I did love Rodgers. I loved ayahuasca, finding yourself, being one with the feng shui. And I'm sick of watching this fucking garbage football team in a division which they should handily win,
Yeah.
So
being bullshit.
So, a question for you, because after last week, with Rodgers kind of putting his teammates on blast, this week throwing 3 picks in the red zone, is the problem more closer to home? Should Rodgers be looking in the mirror?
You gotta only look in the man in the mirror. Michael Jackson, Taylor Swift. Taylor's got a song out now. Oh, me. Oh my God, it's me. Speaks volumes to my life. But Aaron Rodgers, I'm a punter down under. I'm trying to fucking bet on the fucking Green Bay Packers to win at $1.20 against the Detroit Lions. It should be fucking easy money. And they scored 8 points. 8 points. 8.
Yeah.
So
not great.
I understand your feelings there, Peppy. So let's talk about your new team then. Zeke back this week.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll split the load with Tony Pollard. That's Jerry Jones's MO. And a bit of a McCarthy revenge game here for the coach. Do you think Zeke and Pollard should be splitting carries after what Pollard did last week?
They'll run over the fucking morons that wear cheeses on their head and they're green and yellow and they stink and they suck and I hate them. and the Cowboys win
You're
this.
calling out their entire fan base now.
Yeah. Fuck up, Milwaukee.
I guess they're never getting a beer.
Yeah.
No shit.
So I'm assuming we're picking 3 Cowboys across the
Yeah.
table here for this one.
Yeah, them boys.
Yeah.
Boys.
Supported them since I was born.
Going back to stats, so Rodgers does have 14 passing touchdowns to 7 interceptions on the season. Obviously, as you mentioned, 3 of them coming from the latest round of games. So besides last week, I suppose he has been playing okay.
How many wins in the
Yeah,
last 5
I
weeks?
suppose that's it. I suppose that is the big question.
Is it a big fat donut?
They've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'd have a beer with Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers. Ostensibly. I learned that word this week. However, it's been very disappointing watching them play football
Oh, yeah.
over the last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or 5.
Season.
Let's move it forward into the next game. We'll get into we've covered it. We've covered everything from that game. We'll get stuck into Arizona Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Cardinals are in the in-season hard knocks at the moment, which provide an interesting viewing, especially because the big story talking point was the Murray and Hopkins going back and forward. Murray, of course, is struggling, I believe, with the hamstring and questionable in this one. But they're going back and forward. What are you looking at? And Hopkins kind of, I guess, getting stuck into Murray here. Do you think they've got a bit of a QB problem over there?
You don't often see the back and forth, between players blowing up at each other, at the coach.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustrations over there in Arizona. I think they've also only won 3 games, haven't they?
He's also very good.
He is good. Maybe needs to study a bit more. Hasn't won a game since COD and Modern Warfare 2 came out. So
Person shooter, bro.
I don't know. There's something not clicking over there in Arizona. So, yeah, we'll have to see what that looks like. But that is the chat, and we'll have to see how they go forward and what happens with Murray coming out of his. On the other side of the ball, for the Rams, Stafford is dealing with concussion. He's in the concussion protocols. Again, may miss his game. I think he's a game-time decision. But it ends up, this is a very hurt week for quarterbacks. Tannehill's coming back, of course. I forgot the other one we mentioned earlier. Allen, of course, being injured with his elbow. So there's a lot of starters here this week dealing with injuries. So it goes back to our chat about injuries up across the league, especially when your first-string quarterbacks start getting injured. They're the protected species. Maybe that conversation we're having before might start to kick off a bit further. But either way, banged up quarterbacks. What do we think in this one? I'm feeling Rams, I think, at this stage.
I think the Rams get the job done. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. Rams, do need to bounce back. Again,
We've been saying that for a couple of weeks, though.
Yeah, we
Fucking
have.
right,
We have. That Super Bowl hangover has really hit them hard.
Massively.
They shouldn't have lost that game to Tampa, I don't think, either.
No.
They were heavily in front and really just needed a first down to win the game.
Yeah.
But
Well, again,
Yeah,
it all came down to that last drive from Brady as well. So
And Brady was good.
death, taxes, Cooper Kupp. He's very good at football.
Yes.
He's very good at football.
yeah,
It's been horrible, really. The Super Bowl hangover is a real thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Cooper Kupp is 4th on the receiving yards at the moment, behind Tyreek, Jefferson, and Diggs. Really probably just needing that one game to sort of get back into it, get back into a bit of form for that team, and
I think the problem is Cooper's not the issue. They need support for him elsewhere. To free him up a bit. So, yeah. If we stay with Los Angeles, we go to the Los Angeles Chargers. They're up next, taking on the 49ers. No Allen, no Williams last week. Same again, they're both out. Can the Los Angeles Chargers win without their wide receivers going up against the 49ers?
Probably not. I think Austin Eckler, smash if you're a fantasy owner this week. I think he'll get a lot of traffic. But, you'd think without their best 2 receivers, they're they're probably not much shop here.
Yeah, they got the job down last week, but I don't think they're not playing the kind of caliber of the 49ers, who actually have kind of been a bit underwhelming at the moment. They're even? They're at 500? Well, they're one game ahead.
They've been pretty good, really.
They've been good, but they just haven't been winning games, unfortunately.
Seahawks dominating that division.
Yeah, true that. This, I think, is the first week with their full complement back. So Deebo Samuel's back, Elijah Mitchell, of course, back. I think CMC will take the large part there, but they've got everyone now, besides Trey Lance, the quarterback, but everyone else healthy. They're getting healthy at the right time, I think, right here, just past the midway point of the season. I think at home they'll be too good for the Chargers.
Yeah. I agree. I think the 49ers, it pains me to say, as a former Green Bay Packers fan, they always do us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They suck. I hate them, and I hope they all die. No, I'm joking. I think they get this job done. I think they'll pound the rock. CMC will run over the top of these Chargers.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. And then we finish with the Monday night game, which has the Washington Commanders taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, I guess, I think there's not a lot of news for these two teams. Besides, the Commanders using a pretty stupid statement to attack some government officials. Otherwise, for them, not a lot. Not a lot for the Eagles. A bit of a quiet week, but I think the Eagles will just keep their streak going and they'll move to 9 undefeated on the season. Any other thoughts on those?
I suppose the big question has been around the Philadelphia Eagles is their strength of schedule. Yep. Has it been tough enough?
So if I go through from week one, they've had the Lions. Yep. They've had the Vikings.
Yeah, Vikes was a big game.
Vikes good.
They played Vikes twice already.
So Poop good.
Not yet. So they've had the Commanders, Jaguars,
Poop.
Cardinals.
Poop.
Yeah, they've been pretty poop this year.
Poop. Yep. Then they had the Cowboys.
Yeah, good. And
My team.
26-17. I'm not sure who for the Cowboys had lined up, so maybe.
No, it wasn't Dak. Dak's only been back like 1 week.
Oh, no, I'm a lifelong fan,
Yeah, so what was that lineup on week 7 for the week 6 for the Cowboys?
Micah Parsons, like in Cooper Rush,
Who plays cornerback for him?
Diggs.
Yeah. I gave you an easy one.
That's it.
Any Leighton and Vander Eshes?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
I think he's retiring, actually.
Lifelong fan.
Of them boys.
Yeah. Fuck the Packers.
So after week 6, they had a bye. Then they had the Steelers, Texans.
Okay. Poop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Commanders, obviously, this week. And then to round out the season, if we keep on going through their schedule.
Poop.
Yeah, it's a lot of poop.
Colts.
Poop.
Packers.
Poop. At this point, we were worried. We thought that was a strong matchup for them, but after 2 weeks, poop. Just don't hit the camera.
Who have we got after the Packers? So
they've got Giants twice.
This will be a test. So they've got the Titans in week 13.
Good.
Average.
Good.
Average.
Probably playing unders, but that'll be a good test for them. Then they've got the Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, and then Giants again to round out the regular
You got to remember,
season.
AJ Brown has got more receptions than the entire Titans receiving core. And some of his tweets during the week is like, I think they're just like one receiver away from a run.
He's also very good.
He is very good. So I think,
that has to be one of the easiest schedules.
Yeah,
in
Cowboys
NFL
and Giants probably it.
around.
We don't think the Giants are a real team. So we'll have to see how they go. But they could really run the table from here on out. Stay healthy, and they're a good squad. I think Eagles are around by weeks for the Cincinnati, New England, New York Jets, and Baltimore Ravens to round us out. Otherwise, it ended up being a bit of a quiet week in the NFL. Mostly quarterback injuries, the big stories. Otherwise, teams are now deep into their campaigns and pushing for playoff spots.
Let's go Cowboys.
Go Denver. It's been a lean year for us. I think, do we get to 10? No, we haven't got to 10 wins yet across the table.
Oh,
4, 3, and 3. So
yeah, no. Sucks.
Actually, no, that's 10. That's 10. Quick math.
Quick math
makes a comeback.
Ever since I was a little boy, I was a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys.
Monks, do you want to get up? That's the NFL segment done. Hit us up with some NBA round ball stats.
Curry sets, fires, puts it up. Bang!
Sorry, don't mind me. Just training threes over here.
Yes. What's happened in the last week of NBA action?
I suppose a lot of the yarn has been regarding Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets.
His suspension, 5 matches.
5 games, indefinite.
Indefinite, yes.
Indefinite.
About 5 criteria you had to meet to be able to come back to the team. Community work, visiting the Jewish community, of course, going around. And essentially, also the other thing, besides the apology, admitting he was wrong.
Just say sorry.
Which was number one and hasn't happened yet. So, yeah. Besides that, Ben Simmons came back, played pretty well.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad in a good defensive role, of course, for them. Lakers 2-6, I think, at the moment. Or was it?
Oh, I think they're 3-7, maybe.
Well,
Monks have chased up.
Maybe give us an update there.
They stink.
They are
They-
2-10.
Sorry, even worse, 2-10.
I gave them an extra game.
Actually, I just confirmed.
Is it still early or are they in free fall?
They stink.
They stink. Yeah, I agree. I think they stink.
I don't know what's going on.
They're 3 games behind. The Warriors are still there with 5-7. They're still outside the cutoff.
And no one wants to fucking yarn about that. The Warriors been pretty underwhelming. But
Bit of hangovers.
the Lakers stink. They're not playing playoffs this year.
No, they stink.
No chance.
No stink. If you extrapolate that out, then they're not going to win a lot of games, unfortunately.
And Russ has been putting up fucking numbers.
Yes.
He's good.
Yes. LeBron, not so much. Davis, in and out.
How weird, hey? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, LeBron James.
Yeah. It's a thing called father time.
The time. And I'm not having a go.
I know.
I'm not having a go. These guys have got talent.
Oh, he's still uber talented, but
Something I never had
yes.
or will ever appreciate. However, it's weird that it's the same year that Father Time goes,
Knock, knock.
knock, knock, who's there?
Come with me. At least it's not the Grim Reaper.
They all suck this year.
I think that's, especially in LeBron's point, is it now the transition? Does he go from being the guy to a role player?
I think that's a big question,
Can
especially the
his
amount of money
ego
that they've
take that?
invested in him. Well, yeah. And it's just a massive decision for the team to make, I suppose.
I agree, big time.
Having that much money sort of locked up in one person. Does he move to more of that sort of support player, more of that situational? Like, I don't think you'd ever start him off the bench, but
No chance.
Yeah, what's his role in the team moving forward?
You build a team around LeBron. I don't care if he's 8,000 years old. You still build a team around LeBron.
But you need young talent, maybe. I don't know. Or whether he can be that focal piece. But I think it's, volumes. Lost 5 straight. And the Timberwolves there in 13, they're still only, 3 games out. Like they can still potentially, I don't think they will, but the teams from 13 up all have chances still to make finals. There's, we've had a lot of games, but you just think that the Lakers now already, 4 games behind the others. It's a lot to overcome, considering how badly they've been playing and not winning games. So I'm quite happy to see Nuggets up there. So I think Murray back's been a really big thing for them, and the Joker's just been elite as always. Yeah.
How about the Jazz?
Jazz. What about Grizzlies? What about?
It was my pick.
Yeah,
It was my
Jay
pick.
Moore.
Jar.
Yeah.
Jar was my pick. However, there's a bloke called Luca.
Yeah,
and he's pretty fucking good as well.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Definitely.
They've won 2 more games. So.
Yeah.
Still early.
Early.
That's East. That's kind of the stories in East.
West.
What's happening in? West. Sorry, you scrolled down. Let's talk about the East. Well, I guess the other dude they're going to talk about is the Greek Freak, sitting there at the top. They've only dropped 2 games already with 10 wins. So,
They went 9-0.
yeah, they're good.
This will
They are
be good listening. Can anyone say Giannis and Antetokounmpo on the Esky?
Giannis
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
That's pretty good.
This is just because
don't ask me next week.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just bring it up and say, who's that dude that plays for the Bucks? And we're like,
They've been very good. Chris Middleton's having a good year.
yeah, I shout on
True.
I shout on
Holiday's been good.
True. I shout on the Celtics last week, but then Tatum and Smart and they've all been good. They're right there, 10-3, chasing them. So
You want to talk about the Cavs?
Cavs as well. Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell has been fire.
yeah.
He's been so
Such a good
good.
pickup for them.
So good, dude. So good. And the rest of them, Karis LeVert,
What? On the
Evan Mobley and shit, they've been stepping up.
if we go back to the West, like the Jazz after trading away their guys and
Laurie Markkinen.
yeah, they've been good. So still, like I said, long season, but some early favourites kind of pushing themselves into contention there. So we'll have to see how that plays out long term. Any stories down the end of the table for you?
Well, probably the biggest one there for the East is, and again early in the season, but the Bulls they've dropped a few games there.
Sure.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of not infighting, but there's been a bit of words from Jimmy Buckets and some of the others. Again, an older star and seeing how that kind of fits with everything else. Yeah.
They're also 6 and 7. Like, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's
that's
not 2 and 10. It's
Yeah.
not where the Lakers are.
Yeah, you did.
No, that's true. And yeah, I suppose that does just go back to it's still early in the season. Like Bulls a couple of weeks ago were right up there, sitting second or third. Now they've dropped down to 10. 76ers there probably got a little bit to prove on the rise there. Other than that, not too much else going on in the NBA world.
My quick check is like, it's early season, not a lot of stories out yet. Hasn't really been any big injuries yet that I've noticed. I've noticed a few guys like resting. Anthony Davis is probably the big one. He's back. He's been up and down, so have to see how he goes throughout the year.
It's funny. He spells his name like as you normally would, and mine no H. No H. However,
So one spelled correctly, one incorrectly.
well,
Where are we going here?
well, I was going to go down the road of Anthony Simmons.
Yes.
So ANFERNEE. Thoughts?
Yeah.
It
Looks fancy when you write it. I think's the point.
Right.
It's different. That's the point. It's different.
It's different.
It's different.
Oh, yeah. I want Anthony, but I want it to be different.
Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony. Yes.
I don't know. Look, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying it's an unusual way of spelling it.
It is. You don't get a lot of those in the sports.
Oh, it depends.
Yeah.
It's mostly in the Hollywood stars with their funny names, but
True.
not so much in the sports.
Anyways, my name's Anthony, no H.
Yes.
Yeah. Take that as you will.
All right, Bucks.
Explains volumes.
Should we talk about some soccer?
Yeah, let's go for it. He's still there, man. Isn't he? No movement yet.
No movement.
I think the window doesn't open to January from memory. So,
We're at a World Cup to talk about.
but
as
yes,
well.
World Cup. I think World
Yeah.
Cup's probably. Well, where do you want to start? You want to have a quick check at the EPL, or do you want to go in the World Cup?
Go straight to the World Cup. I think.
When's it start?
Next week.
21st,
What's today? 12?
13th,
13? I think it's 20.
20th.
Thoughts?
Week away.
Technically the 20th, but it looks like the first game is the 21st.
Yeah, opening ceremonies on the 20th, 21st, first game. Yeah,
Yeah.
his first game.
It's a crazy World Cup. It's in a little desert country. Probably should never have had it.
A lot of controversy. leading into
Pretty
it.
interesting
A lot of,
documentary on Netflix. If you want to check that out.
a lot of news, a lot of talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to talk about soccer.
Yes.
Kicks off, of course. All the big nations are there, but Italy.
All right.
Any Italian moron sitting in?
It's all right. Hong Kong didn't make it.
Yeah. We'll back the Australians in. So
It's half of my people.
I know. When do the Australians kick off? When's their first game?
So we got France,
Ooh,
Denmark,
big game.
and who's the other team? Tunisia.
Yep.
Give us days.
So we will get pumped.
By
France and Denmark.
Yeah.
Let's hope not, but
We will.
Let's keep it aiming.
No,
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Well,
I
we'll
think
find
get
out
pumped.
soon enough. Australia's first matchup is against France on the 22nd of November.
Day 2.
Pumped.
Yep. Day 2, match 5. After that,
Denmark.
we have Tunisia and then Denmark.
Denmark are good, dude.
Yes, they are.
They're very good. Like they're a smoky.
Does Ericsson play for them?
Oh, indeed. Indeed.
Yeah. Good to see if he gets a run around with them.
Look at Denmark's team. Half of them play for fucking Barcelona,
Yeah.
Tottenham, you know.
All over the EPL.
All them other shit teams. Nah, Denmark will be very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, our squad
No, they
come
will
out
be.
this week, and look, not that I'm a football expert or nothing.
Yep.
I knew about 30% of the team.
It's a younger team. It's definitely not the name value that we're kind of used to with your
It's A-League.
your Cahills and your.
It's an A-League team.
There is a heavy presence of A-League. Yes, I think Matt Ryan's probably the most known EPL player of that.
Clutch shooter for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes. Of their one win a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Denmark will be very good. France could probably win the whole thing.
Yeah, could win the thing. Yeah, they're going to be very good.
You seen their forwards?
Yes,
Mbappe,
Mbappe. Oh,
Giroud, Griezmann.
I saw someone. What was it? Someone tweet. No, that can't be right. Someone had said they picked like the last 4 or 5 World Cups, and they had them all correct up to this point. Argentina was their pick for this one, so we'll have to see. How
Was
Argentina-
that
your FIFA chat?
Yeah.
That was your FIFA
maybe.
chat,
Oh
wasn't
yes,
it?
no, that was So the FIFA of that year has then predicted the winner of the World Cup. The last.
I
5 in a row or
would
something.
love to see Lionel Messi.
Yeah, the Argentina's
Yeah, win one.
first in since
Maradona,
Maradona. Yeah, that's which is 80s, isn't it?
86.
Yeah,
Hand of God.
a long time.
That Australian squad, heavy Scottish influence.
Yes.
A lot of players play for clubs out of Scotland.
Damn, Scots ruined Scotland.
Yeah. And you kind of saw how
You're from Glasgow, you're from Edinburgh.
the Scottish League and the Champions League didn't do overly too well. So kind of shows the levels to the shit. So what's the first game? What kicks us off for the World Cup?
I think it's Qatar
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
and Ecuador, maybe. Or,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, very good.
Let's go with that.
Thank you.
Ecuador going to win?
Made that up on the spot.
Any big group games? Was there a group of death?
I think Group A is a bit
probably-
fake, isn't it?
For us, our group of death.
Jesus.
Not really. They all seem to be pretty well spread out.
Run us through the groups, Monks.
Yeah, okay. We'll start at the top. So Group A, we've got Qatar as a home country.
Boom.
Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands.
Netherlands.
They're always
Netherlands
sneaky good.
will fucking pump everyone on that country.
Yeah. They'll get out of that group.
Yeah,
That team's fire.
that's it. Group B, we've got England, Iran, United States, and Wales.
That's fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
Fun, interesting.
England should win that group.
England should.
They'll do a very England thing and probably lose.
No, they'll get
they
out
made
of
it
the group.
to the well.
They'll get
They
out
made
of
it
the
to the
group, and then the round of 16, they'll go, oh, fuck.
Yeah. When they start singing It's Coming Home, then they'll win.
Just when they think they've got a chance.
Yeah.
Group C, we've got Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland.
Argentina, shit that in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Second will be interesting.
Yeah.
Probably Mexico. They were good at the last
Poland, Lewandowski, man.
one. Ooh, yes.
Poland's good for a shout. Group D, obviously our group with France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia.
Australia on top of that.
No, we'll stink. Hopefully get over Tunisia.
Hopefully. So, yeah, France and Denmark there. Group E, we've got Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan.
Maybe that's close to group of death.
Close.
Spain and Germany.
Yeah,
you'd
they're two
think,
big sides, isn't it?
You'd think.
But again, we've got France and Denmark in Group D.
Yeah.
Group F, we've got Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia.
How about Canada? Haven't been to the World Cup since the 80s.
Yeah. Group G, we have Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Group F, we've got Portugal. H, yeah. Jeez, I know my alphabet.
He's used
as
to
well as
getting
I do.
Fs.
Yeah.
That's why he's here doing a podcast with us.
D-.
Yeah.
Yeah, his parents haven't talked to him in a while. So.
I saw him this afternoon.
Yeah.
I kid.
I mean, I probably spoke to you guys more than they spoke to me. Nah, kidding. Jokes. Group H.
Maybe because I'm, full of youth and,
Yeah. What are you saying about me?
nothing. Come on.
Group H. We've got Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea.
Yeah, Portugal. That's not bad
That's
group
not
outside of Portugal being the favourites in there. But yeah. Yes. Interesting World Cup coming up in a week's time. We'll cover a lot of that.
Argentina win.
Is that
as per FIFA?
As per FIFA,
Yeah.
yes. Argentina is the favourites. What's the time zone like for Qatar for us?
Not too bad. I think it's like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
That's all right.
So we'll get a couple of games, definitely. When no, I won't make you check the time zone for the Australian game.
Any posterising?
No, don't hit him with a ball because you'll break something.
I've got 10 o'clock for that Australia-France game.
Ooh, not bad.
I don't know what time zone we're looking at, though.
I think a few of our games are actually reasonable viewing time over here.
And I think that does the World Cup.
What does the World Cup?
Yep.
Into Premier League, real quick.
Yes, give us a check. What's happened? And I assume the Premier League will probably quiet down for a little bit as we go into the international.
I think all the teams, as of this weekend, they've gone to Qatar. It's Arsenal, hopefully, versus Man City. I hate City. I'm a United fan, obviously.
Yeah.
And I get real, I don't know, just got no history. Bought from oil money, perhaps.
I think it was Russian money for Arsenal, wasn't it?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, no, not too much. Like you said, Arsenal, Man City are up there at the top. Newcastle United sitting
good.
third.
Speaking of oil money,
That's fun. It's fun, though.
Yeah.
It is.
It's good for them. Like, they're not going to win it this year, but finishing high gives good value to then, with all that money, buy guys to make a run next year, which I think is, kind of what they're building towards. So
Where's that stink-ass club, Liverpool?
middle.
Ninth?
They're Liverpool sixth. They've got a couple of wins together. They did lose to Leeds and Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
But that was a few weeks ago. That
Yeah.
was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think we talked about
So hopefully they're coming. Hopefully for my sake, they're coming back to a little bit of form. On
I
Nottingham,
hate Liverpool.
speaking of Nottingham, they are currently sitting in 18th. So pulled themselves back up from bottom of the table. Only 1 point behind Everton, sitting at 17th. So hopefully they can pull themselves out of that relegation zone. Yeah.
Round balls. Should we get in the final round?
The final round.
There we go.
There we go.
Yes. And the reason we were late, coming off the end of UFC 281.
And news.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
big story, and I guess we'll start there
Very big
with
story.
with the main title fight, the middleweight championship. Israel Adesanya taking on Alex Pereira. Went to the 5th round, but you can never discount the power that Alex Pereira brings. Was down by all accounts on the scorecards, 3 rounds to 1. But yeah. Started off, I think, with a right, straight, left hook kind of combination and then finished it up with the power, and Israel was done. And I just saw a video of all the fighter row, as you will, around it, kind of shocked. I was like, wow, I was like, I can't believe that happened. And, a few fucks. He was like, wow. Because that's what was that, 7 title fights for Israel going into this one.
I think, that'd be
Let me
close.
bring that up. Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Wild, yeah, and a great fight. I think it's the best Israel fight I've seen since he became champion. But I also think it was because he had a willing combatant here in Alex Pereira. Because I think some of the other guys were worried about the striking prowess as Israel, but Pereira, being comparable, was happy to take some of the shots. He's got finished in that first round, which was crazy, saved by the bell. But then, they could go back and forth. And it was a very much a excellent kickboxing match, thrown in with a bit of grappling and a bit of extra wrestling, which we didn't expect to see a lot out of either guy. But Israel dominated that, third round with the wrestling. After Alex Pereira won the second round. Yeah, that's how it went. And then the fourth was, I guess, more of a settler round. They both kind of were tired after that third round. And in the fifth, they just came out swinging to try and finish it. And Pereira, in that, did what he needed to do, got Israel up against the cage, cut off his distance, and then teed off on him. So, yeah, got the stoppage. What do you think of the stoppage? I think it's probably the first question.
Oh, I think it was just.
Tad early, yeah.
Possibly.
Tad early was Israel falling to the ground and not getting back up from there.
He wasn't defending or throwing anything, and he kind of, he was ducking and weaving, but he'd eaten already 6 clean shots.
Yeah.
And the question is, he's probably going to get another 3 clean ones. Do you let him take it? Or do you know it's coming?
Nothing good happens out of that.
Yeah.
No.
So he's like, maybe you could have let him take another shot or 2, but also he probably wasn't winning from that point either.
No chance.
But you never know. That's the question. But I think it was a fair stoppage after the shots he'd taken.
Yeah.
Crazy. 5th fight in the UFC. All we work it out was 4 fights in the UFC and 6 or 7 in total.
Seven MMAs and I think 4th in the UFC,
which is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and Anderson Silva won the belt historically in his 2nd fight, but I think that's only just after they created that division, and he beat Chris Lieben, the leader, and beat Rich Franklin for the belt at that time. But he was a well-known Pride champion, so a bit of a difference, but it's still crazy to think 6 finishes in his 7 fights, all by knockout. Just kind of shows you could see the power across the board.
Oh, it did.
Knees. The left hook was deadly. But I also give credit to Israel. Like, he fought very well in this as well. And like I said, best fight I'd seen out of him. Immediate rematch is probably the next question.
You'd have to round it back, you'd think.
I think he was leading, has been the champ for a long time.
Yeah.
Everyone else is kind of busy in that division anyway. With Whitaker and Costa.
That's it. They really need to work out the order for that decision for who's next in line.
Yeah.
Israel's beaten Whitaker twice.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well.
He's beaten Costa.
Yeah.
He's beaten...
And, Whitaker's beaten everyone else as well. He's the gatekeeper at one, which is crazy. So, it's whether... Because that Paulo Costa fight with Whitaker, I don't think it's officially booked. It's rumoured.
I think it sounds like it's rumoured. And I mean, that being said, so that's the fight in Perth.
Whether that's 24 on the Perth card or not. Yeah.
So if that lands a card, obviously announced that Volk will be up against Makhachev.
Yep.
Adesanya Pereira rematch would make that fight card massive.
Might be too soon for it. I think they prefer it neutral in the Americas somewhere. Take it back to Rio maybe as the Brazilian. That's huge, but I don't know. It makes reasoning why Whitaker maybe didn't sign that fight for Costa, because he's number one. He's beaten everyone else. Now there's a new champion. Like, hey, you can cover that conversation about that matchup. But I think logically Israel kind of probably makes sense as the go there, and
he deserves it.
And I think that storyline of Pereira being his boogeyman, his kryptonite, it sells it essentially. They fought 3 times. Maybe was robbed in the first, got knocked out in the second, definitely knocked out in the third. It's an interesting storyline, but I love to watch it for a elite striking match that it was. Like, you can't get much better than having two of the best kickboxers in the world going at it for almost 5 rounds here. So,
I suppose that's it. Like, Adesanya, he knows I mean, he obviously knows the striking potential for Pereira. We saw him.
And he
saw him
wasn't
going to the
doing
clinch.
bad either. So
He wasn't doing bad. We saw him going to the clinch. Do you think, knowing that, should he have gone to ground more? Should he try grappling more? Play away from...
I think I said this in the preview. A part of me felt like that was a bitch move. As in like, hey, you are the two kickboxers. Well, let's see who's the best middleweight on the feet. And you know, Israel's comments about I'm happy to die in the cage. Like, to be the guys just shoot for the takedowns felt to me like the opposite of what they were trying to build that story to. But logically, he dominated the third round with that, and basically had all the ground control. Really wore Alex Pereira down. So it's a smart decision. He just couldn't kind of push it in the fourth, and Pereira got enough gas back to win it in the end. So, yes, probably makes more sense to have taken him down more. Yeah. And it was always a criticism of Israel, and probably the lacking in that division is there hasn't been a really top tier talent wrestler to then kind of push these elite strikers in that division. Romero is probably the main one, but he rarely ever wanted to wrestle. He just wanted to knock guys out, and he didn't get a willing. Israel wasn't going to go forward on him, and he wanted to counter punch. So they're basically two counter punches that didn't want to do anything. Hence why that fight was so boring. And the Cannonier fight, probably a similar kind of conversation. Cannonier really didn't want to throw and risk getting hurt, and Israel was more than comfortable just counter striking and piecing him up with leg kicks. So. It was interesting. Like the walk-in, like very different for Israel. Very business, not the showmanship. Still looked confident, but it was different. So he knew how serious this was. Way different fight than we'd ever seen before for him. So, I think overall he put that in the story. It mattered, and that's why I think the rematch makes too much sense. And in Rio, do it in Brazil, it would be crazy.
It would be.
Any other thoughts on these two?
Nah, got it, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll cover that one.
Going to the co-main then, into the women's fight. And
new as well.
And new. And I'm pretty happy. I think I picked every one of these fights. I told James I thought Dan Hilker would win by decision. Well, actually, no, he won by...
submission.
TKO.
Sorry,
I thought
I didn't put any. I thought Frankie Adega would get knocked out, and he did. Unfortunately, we'll get to that in a minute. Dustin Poirier, I flipped a coin. I thought it was a coin flip, and I think I landed Chandler on that. Thought Zhang Weili would win by knockout, got the submission, and I thought Pereira might be the boogeyman here and get the end for Israel. But either way, this was an elite card across the board. I was very happy. Yeah. Disappointed maybe Meatball Molly on the undercard got a loss. She lost. She didn't win.
Poor thing.
But outside of that, it's been very good. So let's talk about this co-main. Stop trying to suck myself off.
You love doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't understand that.
I've got too many ribs.
Is that Marilyn Manson chat?
Yeah. That rumour that everyone spreads in primary school.
Wee Man's dead. And Marilyn Manson
removed his ribs.
Removed the rib.
Too funny. So Zhang Weili and Esposa coming to this one, we thought Esposa would struggle with the power, and I think she did. From what we saw, stop thinking about sucking your own cock. It's too small; you wouldn't reach anyway. The power. I think the power she'd struggle with, and every time she got hit, she went back and then tried to get the takedown. Grappling was a very good exchange in this, but Weili in the end got the right position, managed to get the crucifix, got an arm free, and then locked it up for the. You're right there, you dying. I didn't think it was that funny.
Funny. Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. Episode 100, how many cock references can we get in?
Settle. All right, Carla Esparza.
Yeah, I think
Zhang Weili.
I think Zhang Weili showed that she was a step ahead here, dealt with the wrestling, had the better power. Surprisingly got the submission here in a quick rear naked choke. I don't think there's much more to say there besides that. I think the better fighter in the end won this than what we thought. Probably sets up another rematch with Rose. If Rose can get a win.
Yeah. I think, Carlos Esparza was always sort of like just that placeholder.
It felt like it. It really, which is unfortunate for her, but
Yeah.
it really did. Like she felt like a placeholder. Got a sneaky win kind of over Rose in the boring fight that we've all talked about. And Wei Li came here, did the job, and became the only, and for her second time as the only Chinese champion in the UFC currently. Keep rolling.
Yeah, keep rolling. So this next fight was great as well.
Banger.
Fire.
Banger, absolutely, Went the first round went very much the way we thought it'd go. Guns are blazing. Chandler landed some big shots and we thought it was done, and then Poirier landed it right towards the end.
We are talking about Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
They don't know how to hold it back.
Yeah.
No.
Great gunfight. And then second round, Chandler dominates with the wrestling, great ground control. I saw a couple of people talking about 10-8 rounds. So maybe. But in the end, Poirier did the job. He weathered the storm and wore down Chandler and got the finish, knocked him out. So, was it a knockout? I can't even remember.
Yes.
Yes.
No, sorry. Submission.
Yeah, it was submission.
Rear naked.
Rear naked, yeah. He took the back. Yeah. It look for all accounts, it looked like we all thought knockouts. That's why I can't even remember it. But maybe I'm still in shock with Pereira winning that fight. But yeah, Poirier working a bit of the wrestling there, getting the back and getting the job done. And
I mean, that's
a nice
it.
deep
Like,
choke.
some of those punches, you would have thought they would have knocked each other out.
Yeah.
Well before that.
Chandler's
third round.
broken nose, his blood everywhere. Thought it would be really hard to kind of get a choke or a finish, but it just kind of popped under the neck there and went very nice and tight, and they got a good squeeze. So, sets up Poirier still sitting there as number 2. He will have to wait until Volk and Islam sort their business out, I guess.
He's not getting Islam.
Yeah. Who's won at the moment? I should know this.
Gaethje.
Oh, no, it'd be Oliveira, wouldn't it?
Oliveira, yeah.
So, I think this kind of sets up Dustin probably will get Islam after he fights Volk here in Australia in February.
What happened with Frankie Edgar?
What we all feared, that he'd get absolutely slept by the young up-and-comer.
Very unfortunate.
Which is what happened. Flying knee. Frankie kind of ducks into it, eats it clean on the face and knocks him out in the first round. Unfortunate, because he was 5 minutes away from 8 hours in the octagon. The finish was 7 hours and 58 minutes.
Something like that, something very close.
Unfortunately, so
very nice.
Yeah. And it was a hard way to go out. We all knew it was his retirement fight going into it.
Yeah, his family, his kids were
3 kids, his wife all cage side, and to be laid out stiffened like a ball was like a board, not a ball. It was not a great way, I guess, to end his career.
Mine today.
Yes, with Cox.
And Dix.
So it's I feel bad for Frankie, but he'll go straight into the UFC Hall of Fame. He's just been so elite for a long time. Was lightweight champion for a while. This fight in bantamweight kind of showed how the UFC's changed and the kind of size of the fighters and the difference. And he's had to work his way down divisions essentially to get into the bantamweight. But
that's it.
But it's, how do you say Chris's last name?
Gutierrez.
Yeah. Looks good. Big for bantamweight. Definitely an up-and-comer. Will be ranked after that.
Old for an up-and-comer, though, as well. He was like 33, wasn't he? Yeah.
33, yes. Yeah.
Same age as us.
Yes, same age as us.
We're all
done. Just 100 podcasts. On
100 podcasts.
100 episodes.
100 pounds.
A few thousand dick jokes. That ends Frankie's career. And Chris will get a ranking in the top 10.
Yeah,
or maybe 10. I think you maybe get 10.
Yeah. So Frankie Edgar ends his career 36 fights, 24 wins, 11 losses there.
How old is he? 41.
41.
Yeah.
I think he was on like a 6-fight lose streak.
No, he did win against Pedro Mujoz.
Yes.
So 5 out of 6.
That was 2 years ago. So 5 out of 6 there.
Rough. And then we finish with our lad who's a Kiwi, but we claim he's Australian, Dan Hooker.
Russell Crowe.
Yes, Russell Crowe. Wants to fight on the Perth card after getting the win here, getting a TKO victory by body shots, essentially. Two liver kicks essentially did the job here for this one. How do you say this bloke's name?
Claudio Puelles.
Puelles, very much leg locks was what he was after. He was just diving in trying to get leg lock. Had one deep on Hooker, but Hooker weathered it in the first round.
Yeah.
But then, he could not deal with Hooker's, I guess, his experience and then striking capability.
Stand up. Yeah. Couldn't compete with stand up. He
pieced him up, and the body shots wore on him eventually. Kidney shots, and then the two big ones, the liver. That's all she wrote. It was odd because he was constantly kind of diving to the ground to get the leg lock, so he was on the ground. I said to you, I think it was like, take a couple shots and sit down like that. The ref might just be like, well, call it off. And they kind of went that way, took a couple shots, was sitting down, not really doing anything. And the ref was like, yeah, you're done. That's enough.
Yeah, that's it.
So, bit of an odd one to kick off the main card, but it was overall, it was a great card. Big knockouts, big wars, gunfights and that, a few submissions. So you can't ask for more out of the UFC. So that has been an elite card, UFC 281.
Yeah.
And then I think we've got, a couple of weeks to 82.
Yes.
End of the month?
82 will be
December?
10th of December.
And who's on that one? Who's headline? Is that Teixeira or is that
Yeah, Glover Teixeira, who was in the corner for Pereira today. And
Love.
Yuri Porchika?
Paraka.
That's it.
They did a press conference during the weekend. Glover was giving him shit. It was like, you cut your hair off. You lose power. And he's just like, maybe power gets stronger. They're kind of going back and forth. So.
Yeah. Also, light heavyweight on that card, Jan Blachowicz up against Magomed
Go on.
Anklever. Lev?
Battle of the Best.
But also some other big names on this card. We've got Paddy the Batty Pimlet.
Yep, he's
Paddy.
Yep. Robbie Lawler is also on the main card.
Ooh, who's he fighting?
Robbie Lawler is fighting Santiago. Oh, jeez. You're giving it to me today.
Go on.
That doesn't even look right.
Try.
Ponzinibbio?
Yeah.
Ponzinibbio? Nibio? Pass. Also on the prelims, we've got Alexander Gustafsson up against St. Cruz. Darren Till.
He needs a win.
Yeah. And Rosenstruck is on the prelims as well.
Big card. Yeah. So to finish off our UFC news, if I said Dylan Dennis got slapped after this event, who do you think slapped him?
God, I hope. Zeus.
Who? What?
Zeus.
Yeah, he's more like God.
Odin.
He's more like God in the streets, but the Stockton slap.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz gave him a good slap.
Good.
So
That bloke sucks.
yeah, he does. Nate Diaz is still on that promotion tour, slapping up anyone he can at the moment.
Good.
So see how that plays out. Whether he kind of gets into that boxing world. The rumors are that Jake Paul and Andrew Tate fights the next thing coming, and
Bit fun.
bit of fun there. I told you about Logan and Roman Reigns earlier, and Roman Reigns was he actually made a comment, and it was just like, these YouTube guys, they can't bring it. KSI, Mr. Beast, they can't bring it. So
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, he's the biggest YouTube star out there, but
I'll back in Mr. Beast.
yeah, I don't think he's the rigs what you're looking for.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, and I think
Mr. Beast, reach out.
Yeah. So Logan with his
Yeah.
ACL, I think he was going to box in January on KSI's fight card that's coming up, and KSI's got a component that he hasn't announced, and then I think Floyd fighting Deji's in like a week's time. So it's a crazy place, the boxing world.
YouTube.
Well,
Funny.
I think the main thing is there's a bunch of mandatories announced in the boxing world, but the main one I think that we'll take interest in is Wilder and Ruiz mandatory fight between the two of them. I think we talked about that. It's been official mandatory, so that'll happen. For Oh, I think that's title contention for someone's belt. Whose belt? Maybe it's one of. Is it Uzcek? No, Uzcek. Confuse me. Yeah, Uzcek. Yes, the Ukrainian. What's the Ukrainian heavyweight champion? Uzcek. Yeah, one of his belts. There you go. And that I think sums up the fighting world.
I couldn't contribute to that one.
At least you tried to contribute.
Off the glass.
Yeah.
No, don't throw it. Don't throw it over there.
I'm not.
Just give it to him.
Settle.
Finish up with some F1.
F1.
They're in Brazil at the moment.
Bastian Vettel.
Oh, there you go. Brazil K-Mag got pole after a bit of an interesting weather. It's been a bit wet over there in Brazil, as it is here. So he got a good lap in, got pole. They did
For the sprint race.
For the sprint race. They did the sprint race last night. He, as you'd expect, went very backwards, finished 8th. What was interesting was the Silver Arrows, the Mercedes finished 1 and 2 after Carlos Sainz, who's finished 2nd, got a 5-second penalty. He'll start 4th, I believe, with Max starting 3rd in the race, which is morning for us, but I guess tonight for everyone else. And it kind of showed that Max may be vulnerable, which is their first, maybe showing that, they're kind of focusing on next year, and Mercedes kind of getting that car right. They're progressing into the season. So, yeah, Max is 3rd.
Yeah.
What's Sainz 4th, I think, and then you've got Perez and the others.
No, starting grid for tomorrow. We've got Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, all the way down at 7th. And as you mentioned, Magnussen, Vettel, Gasly.
I think Shuey moved up 8, so he's 12, and Ricciardo's 11.
Yes. Yep,
that's it. Which is kind of interesting. There's still Haas with drivers, and whether Shuey or Hulkenberg, and all room is Ricciardo to Mercedes as a reserve driver. So
that's
see how that plays out. But it's good to see the Silver Arrows kind of moving up, and maybe they can compete with Red Bulls next year and see what the Ferraris bring, and we can have a bit of a battle and not just dominated by Max Verstappen.
That's it. I'd probably caveat the sprint race with the fact that it. For Verstappen,
no real pit stops.
It was a sprint race. It was also wet, so tyre choices probably played into a little bit effect.
He did take the lead, but he kind of he faded towards the back.
So
with the others taking him over. So.
That's it. So tomorrow with full race strategy, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot different. Max Verstappen.
I think they're expecting rain again as well, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But kind of to me makes it look like setting up for a Lewis Hamilton victory. So I think he's won there. He's got a good streak there. I feel like 5, but I could be wrong. I'll let you see if you figure out there. Lewis Hamilton kind of has a bit of a home there in Brazil from a winning standpoint for F1.
Keep talking.
That probably sums up where F1's at the moment with the season ongoing. No real stories, kind of finishing up at the end of the year. Is this the second last race? This one, and then they're at Abu Dhabi, and then we're done for the year?
You're asking me so many questions.
You should just know this shit, James.
I should. I don't.
Technically,
Abu Dhabi's,
the last race. So this is second last?
This is the second last
race. No sprint race in Abu Dhabi? I assume not.
No.
There's only 2 this year. Yeah. There you go. And that's basically F1. So.
He's playing defense. What do you reckon?
I'm too short to play defense.
I'll posterize.
I just said I'm too short.
I don't think you could, because you couldn't jump that high. So I've seen those calves.
Me?
Yeah, we had to get some calf chat in.
I'll back it up. Back it up, baby.
So you got a result there for Hamilton and wins at Brazil?
He's won it only 3 times.
Oh, 3 times.
Yeah. Prost has won it 6 times.
Ooh,
so he leads the GP.
Anyway, that's all the news. The England-Pakistani game for the T20 World Cup has kicked off. I think we're in over 3, and they've scored 12, I feel like. Yes, in the third. It's just started the third over, and they scored 12. I assume England won the toss and elected to bowl. So they will chase, which doesn't fit well for the Pakistani team. But a solid-ish start to go, but they might need to get on their bikes here shortly.
Yep. Stay tuned to see Pepsi posterise monkey.
And that's episode 100.
100.
100. Here's 100 more.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Raise the
sir.
bat. Raise the
Thank
bat.
you.
Thank you.
Raise the
Thank
bat. Raise the bat. Thank you to anyone that's listening.
All the fellow dribblers for tuning into our dribble.
We appreciate it.
The calf chat, cock
Yeah.
chat, the getting divorced chat, the switching teams chat.
Big cars, big cop, not getting divorced.
Exactly. Well, we don't compensate for anything because it's always the opposite. So, yeah, definitely.
We'll see you on 101.
Yes. And we'll keep rolling. Another few hundred incoming.
Finger roll. Finger roll.
Finger roll.
Off the glass.
Don't break anything. And that'll do us
Boom.
on the Esky.
Boom.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya Monday.